and welcome to the Bus Hollman Show, Series 2, Episode 7. I tell you what, I've got a lot of shit happening here in the fucking shed at the moment. The dog's outside, but me old fucking cane farmer fucking slashing fields, so I don't know whether the fucking mower is coming over and interrupting because I can hear the cunt here. Then I've got his fucking dog that chases the mower as it's going around the fucking cane field, barking at the tie the motherfucker up is all I'll say. Anyway, the Bus Hollman Show. How yous all going? Remember, money won't make you happy, but it'll buy you a big fucking boat and make your titties big on your missus. 2 weeks in a row. Thought I'd better double up on the shows. I've had a couple of complaints about not being enough regular with my shows, but fuck yous, I'm working, man. 3 days a week now. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Fucker. For some reason I hate working Fridays. Why have we got to work Friday? Friday should be off for a fucking extra long weekend. And I'm pretty certain I seen a study a while ago about some place over in Europe where they're actually trialling that they work 4 10-hour days, and then they have Fridays off, and their productivity went through the roof. We've got to start thinking outside the box. We've got to start doing that sort of stuff. Look at my fucking tooth. Oh, I think I need a bit of dentistry. The Bus Hollman Show. All your favourites on this week. And the craft beer segment, which we're going to get into. I've already had a couple of great Northerns. I shouldn't have. Because every time I fucking start early before I do the show, and then I get into the fucking craft beer, 3/4 of the way through the show, I'm fucked. Don't remember half the shit I say. And I miss stuff that I was supposed to be saying. Apparently last week I never even fucking give a rating on the beer, just drunk it all. So anyway, I've only had 2 big bottles before it. And I know I shouldn't. Blood pressure and fucking ticker. And anyway. Got to have a fucking good time while you're here. We've got our craft beer segment. We've got all last weekend's games to go through. What's Bus been up to? What's pissing Bus off? Hamburger challenge and a bit of random shit. Origin, obviously, we'll talk about. Bus's top 5. No, I'm going to talk about top 5. But first, let's get into our craft beer segment. And again, this is a great look. I think the cans are really getting me when I go in. So we've got about 3 bottle shops. One at McLean, a couple in at Yamba, and I go through those and each week to try and sort out what craft beer I'm having. So this one got me this week. I'll just put the microphone down. So here it is here. I'll rip one off here. There we go. So it's called Yala's Sea Bass Mediterranean Lager. 4.2% alcohol. Look at sea bass sitting up here. It's brewed in Australia, down in fucking Victoria somewhere. Alexandria, Burrows Road, Alexandria. It's brewed. Yeah, 4.2% alcohol. Hasn't got the calories on it. I'm a big fan of the calories. But anyway, we'll get into this fella. Because I'm a bit dry. We'll have the skull first, a full can. Drinking out of my old wobbly chook pint glass. Poured a pretty big head on it there, but look at him. Very light golden, it's like a light straw. It's actually a little bit cloudy for a pale ale, but yeah. Got that light straw colour about it. Oh, gee. I'm going to tell you this. Whilst it's got a little bit of fragrance, something like, and again I'm trying to give you a beer that you can relate to, it's a little bit stony, woody, but it's also, I can smell flowers. I'm telling you fucking now, I can smell flowers. Something about flowers. Let's give them a go and see what it's like. That's alright. I don't mind that. I do not mind that at all. Remember, if in our craft beer segment, it's all rated on stars. So, excuse me. 1 star, will not have it again. 2 stars, I would drink it to fit in with the crowd. 3 stars, I'd order it if I had a choice. If it was on the menu, I'd order it. 4 stars, I'd go deep on the shit. Like, it's the sort of thing I'd sit down and have a good sesh on. 5 stars, well, baby, like I told you before. Once I have too many, I'm singing Charlie Pride. And you get 5 stars, is anybody going to Sound and Tone? That was all right. I don't mind that. Yarla's Brew. Seabass. Look at Seabass there. Looks like a little wayfarer with his little hat on. Looks like a little bit of Greek in him, bit of Mediterranean. Anyway, Seabass is all right. So, well, I'll knock another one over. I'll knock another one over. Oh! To see what that's like. There we go. I don't know how many of you people watch on YouTube. I don't know. I only get the results on who downloads it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, but I haven't been able to work out how many people are actually watching it on YouTube. So if anyone knows that, definitely give me a call. So we were talking before about our top 5. For all the fucking red dirt miners over there in the coal country that follow the show and listen to it each week, Bicep Arm Brendan, the red dirt warrior, Boris, his mates wanted a top 5 fullbacks from me, because they know I love my fullbacks. I just love the first bloke you pick. They wear number 1, first bloke you pick, so you got to start with a good fucking fullback. I was blessed with a couple of good fullbacks in my coaching career and playing alongside. The best I ever seen, the best I ever played with was a bloke called the Velvet Hammer, old Mitch, the Velvet Hammer. Called him the Velvet Hammer because he'd sneak up and smack you, and he'd be that quiet and that cute, you wouldn't even realise that he hit you. But fuck, he was a good fullback. So we're going to do Bus's top 5 fullbacks. Now, we're going to do them later and we'll talk a little bit more about them. But the other top 5 is, there a few weeks ago, I did a top 5 only fans girls that I follow. And I rated them in the top 5, but I never said what they actually do, and I've had a lot of feedback of blokes wanting to know, why do you follow them and what do they have to offer if they want to join up and pay on their site? Is it worthwhile? What sort of stuff? Now I can't go into it all because copyright might have a little bit, and I've been kicked off a few times, but I'll give you a rough description of what they used to do, of what they still do, sorry. So we're going to get into last week's games. I'll tell you what, we've already talked about the Origin before, but just give me a minute. Last week's games. So we've got to go back to round 14. Geez, I had it all set up here too on my fucking computer here. Round 15. Round 14 was last week. Round 14. So in a big upset, the Knights 26 over the Eagles 22. I tipped the Eagles. If it weren't for them, I would have had a fucking perfect round. I'd never seen that one coming. 2 totally different halves. Watched the first half, and I thought it was a matter of the Eagles by how many. Boys got booed when they went off at half time. Come back on, and the Knights, to their credit, shoved it into the Eagles 26-22. The Storm 38-14 over the Cowboys. What can you expect? We've seen that there. I'll tell you what, this is a big one. The Dolphins 56 over the Dragons. Now, I tipped the Dolphins 56-6, but that's 50 points over the Dragons. I don't know. Come on. You're a first grade side in that competition. You should be fucking doing that. Oh. Funny how all the Dragon supporters have been real quiet. Uncle Sago, haven't heard from that cunt. Travelling around Australia. Usually sends a fucking message in, but no. Haven't heard from him. Haven't heard. The Cobar Prince, haven't heard from him. Big Red Coin, haven't heard from them. The cunts, they all disappear. I'm there every week with the Roosters. Copping it every fucking week. But I keep fucking turning up. Warriors 40 over the Sharks 10. Now, Sharks are fucked. Look, I hate to say this because I'm a fan of these, but I think they really need to move Nico on. I think everything's built around him. It's not working out. He's not getting any better. The team's at a level when they don't seem to be taking an extra step. And I look for Nico. So I reckon Nico would flourish in another club. I reckon if we moved him on, we went to another club, a new lease of life, I think Nico would flourish. I think he could be what everyone thinks he should be, but it's just not working out at the Sharks. And I think Sharks need to bite that fucking bullet and bite it quick. Raiders 36 over the Rabbits 12. Now, Raiders are my second side. You all know that. Big fan of Ricky Stewart and the way the Raiders are playing. Giddy up. Big fan. I'll tell you what, this Panthers 18 over the Tigers 14. This was a lot closer than what you think. Rubber to green never went to fucking South Tigers' way. They should have won that game. Penrith had all their stars back and only just beat the Tigers. So no, hold your head up, Benji and the boys. You're going well. Bulldog 30 over Parramatta 12. That's a lot closer game than what that score also predicts. So, you know, that don't read much into that. That was a lot tighter game than the score predicted. Now, hamburger challenge. We've traded a hamburger challenge after we have a little bit more of this sea bass. Euler's Brew. One of these motherfuckers gonna sponsor me? We'll sell it all their fucking. It's not a bad beer. Yeah, I like it. It's growing on me. It hasn't hit me yet, but it's definitely growing. Hamburger challenge. So, during the week I went up to Evans Head. I went up and played 9 holes of golf at Evans Head Golf Club. It's a 9-hole course. They play it twice, move the tees to get 18 holes. Nice little not coastal golf course. Challenging. It was a bit wet when I played it, so it still hasn't dried out properly. But it was pleasant. Old clubhouse, went and had a couple of beers afterwards. Yeah, but it was a good, pleasant experience playing at Evans. But anyway, I went into town first and had lunch. And I went to the Evans Head River Cafe. Beautiful little cafe, beautiful little spot. Went for the hamburger and chips. Now, the hamburger, homemade patty. I'm always pleased when I have a homemade patty. And it was the simple one. If I'm making this hamburger at home, in my fucking kitchen, this is what I'm putting on the motherfucker. A hamburger patty, tomato, beetroot. What are you going to say? A little bit of cheese, and it was a nice... Tasted like a little bit of Bega cheese. I think I wanted Bega cheese. Cooked onion and lettuce. And they only had their choice of tomato sauce or barbecue sauce, which is a downfall because I like a little bit of relish or something, a little bit of something different, a little bit of garlic mayo, something like that, and then a little bit of sauce on top of that. So you got a little bit of different things. And then it was all put on a sourdough roll, one of those square ones. Served with chips. Chips were crunchy, but nowhere near enough. But this is what I'm going to tell you. Like, nowhere near enough chips, yep, straight up. Wasn't a huge burger, but it was a good-sized burger. Any normal person, say, that's under 120 kilos, I'm currently 125. Don't tell Max, he'd probably think I'm fucking 150. Don't tell Chinese Eye fucking Bunda Gale, because I think I'm bigger than in that cunt now too. But if you're under 120 kilos, it's probably enough for you. Me, I had a few little fucking onion rings on the side, like a little side of onion rings I had with it. I digress. $12. Did you hear that? $12 for that hamburger that I just described to you and chips. You can't make it for fucking that. You cannot make what I got for $12 if you made it at home. No, I'm a straight up bat. That's a 10 out of 10. The only thing that could beat that is you get the cunt for free. That's the only thing that would fucking beat for that. You'd get that if you got it for free. $12 for a hamburger like I described and chips. You can't beat that. Presentation was just in one of the little boxes. Hamburger, a few chips beside it. What you expect at a beachside cafe. The Evans Head River Cafe, sorry, it was 7 out of 10. The size, like I said, for the price, I'm not going to complain about the size because it was only $12. If I got that size and I'm paying $24, I'm fucking sending it back, or I'm clicking my fingers and getting some cunt to come over the table. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 for the size, but I'm not upset about that. Okay, the taste, simple as what I said. Nice, structured, homemade hamburger, had nice salt and pepper. It would have just been a lot better with a little bit of relish or a little bit of mayo or something like that, just to bring out the toast. And I'll tell you the other thing. So it was a fresh bun, it was a sourdough bun. I like when one side's toasted, like the inside part. Toast that first, and then I like that a lot better. So the experience, the hamburger experience was just, it's on the river there at Evans Head, right beside the caravan park. Lots of people, beautiful spot during the summer. So not a bad, the view was beautiful, watching the river, the bridge walk across from it. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. So that gives it a grand total of 36 out of 50. So that's $12. Oh, that's the cheapest hamburger I've found on the North Coast. Giddy up. If you get to Evans Head, go to the Evans Head River Cafe, and they had a fish burger, which I wanted to get so bad, but I had that the hamburger, because bloke just up from me had a fish burger. Fuck, it looked nice. It did, and they have all your little cafe favourites there. So, yeah, definitely we'll check that out again. And what's Bus been up to? Sea bass beer. Sea bass fuel of bread. I'm already getting fucking deep on this shit. What's Bus been? I've been a little bit of fishing. Had a fish while I was up at Evans Head. Had a fish over at 10 Mile Beach. Me and the mayor went down to Freeman's Rock and had a fish there. We fished the middle balls with one of my boys, and the mayor, he got wobbly legs now, that old cunt. Got to watch him in the fucking boat. I remember years ago, I only had a little boat. I had I think it was a 4.3. I think it was a 4.3 Quintrex, had a little 60 horsepower on it. And I think I might have told you this story a while ago. And got caught outside. Fucking. Went out and it was good conditions. I never read the weather. I'll put my hand up straight away. Never read the weather right. And we got coming back and we got a 2 metre swell. And the wind's blowing and I'm in this little fucking 4 metre fucking boat, and they're coming over the little side console. Waves are coming over and the mayor is shitting himself. And what he never realised is when you go down the bottom, when the swell's up, if you're down in the bottom of the well, you can't see nothing. All you can see is water in front of you, the whale. Oh, fuck, he panicked. Oh, gee, fucking panicked when he couldn't see land. And all of a sudden he'd see land, then he wouldn't see land. Then he'd see land, then he wouldn't see land. Oh, but he fucking panicked. And yeah, he needs a life jacket too, by the way, all the time. So, yeah, done a bit of fishing there. The fishing hasn't been brilliant, and we'll do a bit more on the fishing report later on. And no crabs, haven't been able to get any crabs. Like I said, been to Evans, played golf at Yamba, played the back 9, 10 to 18. I reckon that's a better 18, by the way, if you're up in Yamba and you want to play 9. Play the back 9, I reckon, and you finish in front of the clubhouse. Great little clubhouse, overlook it all. Yep, play the back 9 if you get a chance. So, been around, had the markets. Winter markets are not the best. Took the mare to the farmers markets, got some little avos and got some tomatoes. We had some beautiful fish the other day. A bloke where I work gave us some, like a kilo of ludwig fillets that he got, and I've never had ludwig before, to tell you the truth. And we crumbed the ludwig and got a few bits of salad stuff from the farmers markets, and it was nice. So yeah, done up there. Football, I haven't got to see the football for a while because I've had a couple of buys in a row, so I haven't been able to get on to the football in a row. Euless Bren going down. So that's what Bus's been up to. I'll tell you what, there's something going on in Burke this week too, by the way, that you should get around. And there's an old saying, when ordinary men do extraordinary things. Like, think about that. For things to happen in the world and things to get achieved, there's people that get paid to do stuff. There's people that are on committees and they want to be on committees or organisations. But every now and then an ordinary bloke, and I'm sure this bloke won't mind me saying that because it's what he does at the end of it, that it means everything. But every now and then we need ordinary blokes to do extraordinary things. Now there's a bloke in Burke called Mick Whitbread. I've been friends with Mick all his life. Mad fisherman. Not saying Mick's a good fisherman, by the way, Mick, but he's a mad fisherman and loves the Darling River and loves catching fish. But Mick's doing a fundraiser. It's the third time he's doing it, and it's a walk for him prostate cancer research walk. Now, Mick's goal is to walk 25 Ks, and this coming Saturday in Burke, I think Mick's going to walk out to the Weir and back and maybe a little bit further. He's been supported by his lovely wife, Becky, and his family. So get around this bloke and donate some money. Mick Whitbread, he's got a page going on Facebook. It's Mick Whitbread New Prostate Cancer Research to Save Lives. That's a part of Men's Health Week, which is coming up from the 9th to the 15th of June. So yeah, get around. And all the money goes to help raise awareness for prostate cancer during Men's Health Week. And as a lot of men don't get out and go and see the doctor, so Mick's raising awareness for this, and it's a great initiative, mate. Well done, Mick. Great effort. And like I said before, mate, we need ordinary blokes to do extraordinary things. And that's what you'll do. Good on you, Mick. Boys, got a big fishing trip this weekend, by the way. Going out to the hut. Got a few going out there. I'll give you a big update next week. I don't know if there'll be much fishing going on. Lots of fucking drinking. I can't get back to it, unfortunately. I'm going to miss that out of the big trip out of the hut, which is really pissing me off. So let's move on now to the punting report. I tell you what, if you followed me last week, we got a winner and we got... Okay, let's be honest. We had a first and we had a fucking last. Okay, so if you... And I know we picked the favourite, but it's fucking hard to pick a favourite. It is, but so we had a first place and a last place. But we're going to stay at Eagle Farm this week because it's a Stradbroke. Got to have a bet in the fucking Straddy. Now let's see how we go this week. We're going to start off in race 6, which is the Ladbrokes JJ Atkins 600 metre. 1600 metres is Group 1. And I know I've been following this horse for a while, and I actually tipped you guys when it won its first victory. And since then it's won 4 in a row. It's gone for 5 in a row. So it's definitely been building towards this here. Cool Archie. And I think I tipped it the first 2 times. And then, to be honest, I never thought it'd come on and win its last race, but it did. But I'm back on it this weekend. Cool Archie in the Ladbrokes JJ Atkins 1600 metre Group 1. Now, obviously, this is, I think it's had a trial and 4 wins. So this is at 6 starts, so it's super fit. 1600 metres is not going to be a problem. Trained by the Munch brothers. Jimmy Harley's on top. He's only carrying 57 kilos. So get on Cool Archie. I had a horse once. The old man, the mare, got my sister, Lisa, who unfortunately is not with us anymore. Ladies, breast cancer, be aware of that. Lisa would want me to tell you all that. Lisa was a mad show jumper. And when I say mad, bitch was mad. I've probably never seen a more braver horse rider ever. She would point her horses at jumps, and just ride and whip the fuck out of them to get them over jumps. And she was she rode angry. That's what I'll say. She rode angry, rode him hard, put him away wet. That's what she lived by. And so we got into show jumping. And anyway, I don't know how the mare got onto this fucking horse, but he got onto a horse at Gilgandra, trained by an old fucking bushy out there called Edgar Markey. I don't even know if Edgar Markey's still fucking alive. And we had to drive out to his property at Gilgandra. And there was me, the mare, and my sister Lisa, and we went out to... I think we met him at a show, and he got to having a few beers with the mare, and he told him about this horse that he was going to get ridden in. And I remember him, we're in the car going to fucking Gilgandra, and the mare saying, look, Lise, this horse is going to take you to the New South Wales Championships. I was talking to old mate Edgar Markey there a couple of fucking weeks ago, and he told me that he had this horse that he's had from a fucking foal, and he's trained it, and he's had other people riding. He said, getting on a few years. He said, but he said it's ready for a good, young, solid rider, and it could go to the state champions. That good of a fucker jumper. And the old man was pumped up about it. Fuck, he was pumped up about it. So we pulls up at Gilgandra. We're out the front, and the dog in a rough fucking farm, and dog come running out at your car before you even put a fucking foot out. They come running out back and say, you're in a fair dinkum place. Okay, when their dogs come out and meet you at the fucking car before you get out the fucking car. And we're looking around, and here he comes walking. He come from behind the house out there where the chooks were. I hope they would know where the chooks, because something was fucking clucking out there. He had on a pair of shorts, a wholly long sleeve fucking work shirt. He had riding boots on with no socks, and the biggest fucking cowboy hat you ever fucking seen. And he come out, and the old man jumped out. The dog ran away. So he was, get down there. And the dogs were gone. Anyway, we got out of the car, and he said, look, I got this horse. It's called Archie. That's why I got onto the story, because cool Archie racing this week. We walked around, and here's this big fucking horse, and I'm telling you now, it's 17 hands fucking high, a skin and bone. And I thought, there's something wrong with this fucking horse. He's fucking skin and bone. And Edgar said to the mare, he said, look, I can't get this cunt fat. He said, I pumped that much food. He said, I know it looks bad. He said, because you see the rims, and the ribs was fucking sticking out. He said, but a healthy horse. He said, I've had it checked over. He said, I just can't get it fat. He said, it just eats and shits. And I think the old man bought it for $700. We put it in the float, took it all the way back to Burke. And I got to be honest, my sister Lisa weren't happy. It wasn't the pretty, it was a fucking ugly horse. And I mean, horses are horses. But this cunt was ugly horse. And then we had it for about a month, and the old man, he shoved some food into it, but couldn't get it fat. Just couldn't get it fat. So the first outing we went out, and there's a couple of fucking show jumpers out in Burke, a couple of big noting cunts. They come from money, and they try to buy a ribbon. That's literally what they fucking do. So anyway, I think the first event we rode at was the Burke show. And old sis cleaned them up on this big skin and bone cunt. So then we went on to the next show. I think it might have been Cobar. Cleaned them up there again, and we thought, oh, this cunt can jump. Then I thought, cunt's skinny, not carrying a lot of weight. Of course it can fucking jump. Anyway, done a few more shows, and she won different events here and there and that sort of stuff. And then ended up coming to the end of the show season, and the horse had just won brilliantly. So he had an off season. Fed the cunt up again, still never got fat. Come back the next year and we started off again. And look, we're up against horses that people were paying 10, 15, 20 grand for. We paid $1,700 for this old fucking chocolate chestnut cunt that was skin and bones and had ribs and fucking hip bones sticking out, but it just flew over fucking jumped high, this cunt. And anyway, old sis got qualified to go to state championships at fucking Tamworth. And there's some fucking good horses there, $20,000, $30,000 fucking horses. We drove all the way over from Burke with this old fucking horse float. The old man had an old fucking Bedford truck that we towed it with. And we were the rough ones. You always need rough ones, but we were the fucking happiest, I can tell you that right now. And first day of eventing, she went pretty well. Second day went really well. Qualified for the final in the Table A. And I reckon the jumps were the highest jumps I've ever seen in my fucking life. They were taller. So I'm 5'10". I think they jumps would have been 7-8 foot of fucking high. And we watched horse after horse fucking knock rails and balk at fences and do all that sort of stuff. Anyway, old sis got up with this fucking big skin and bone cunt called Archie. And she went around and she just flew over jump after jump. She fucking went over them all. And anyway, qualified. I think there was about 4 or 5 qualified for the final, had to jump off. And then was done on speed. And then she's pumping this big cunt around these jumps, cutting corners and fucking going jump to jump. And then there was a sharp turn to go through the pegs to finish the fucking race. You wouldn't believe it. She jumped the last jump, went clear. Never turned sharp enough, missed the fucking flag, like two pegs you had to go through them. She missed it and went on the outside it, had to do a turn to come back. You can't turn and swing back in, you've got to do a full rotation, come back and go through. Cost her like probably 20 seconds. She ended up finishing 4th. Third place would have qualified her to go to the Australians, and she ended up fucking finishing 4th. So anyway, cool Archie's racing this weekend. I had a horse called Archie. Motherfucker could jump. Anyway, so that's the JJ Atkins. The other big race, of course, up at Eagle Farm this weekend is the Stratty, which is race 8, the Stradbroke handicap over 1,400 metres. Now, I'm going for a little bit of a roughie here. Number 6, Golden Mile, paying about $9 at the moment. Last start it had a third at this track, over 1,300. It's a lot fitter now, okay? So it's been building towards this also. JJ Collett's on board, carrying only 53.5 kilograms. When it ran third 2 weeks ago at Eagle Farm, get this, it was carrying something like fucking 59.5 kilos. So it's dropped 6 kilos coming into this. I reckon this is a great bet. Golden Mile, number 6, race 8, the Stradbroke handicap at Eagle Farm. Get on board. I think that's a really fucking good pick there. That one there. So, righto, let's get on. Bus's top 5. I want to go for the top 5 fullbacks. Now, the thing about the top 5 fullbacks, they're the top 5 fullbacks, right? So it's not the top 5 fullbacks ever on the NRL. It's my top 5 fullbacks that I've watched, that I can remember playing. If I'm going back, I'm probably thinking from about 1990 onwards, maybe 1987, 88 onwards. So it's fullbacks in that area. It's no good trying to big note myself and talk about Langlands and all these fellas. I can't remember watching them fellas play. So it's about the ones that I've watched play, who I think is the best. I'm going to rate them from 1 to 5. Number 5. Number 5, Jared Hayne. Oh, let's be honest. He was fucking good. That run of his in the 2000s when I think it was Para won the last 6 or 7 games and went through the semi-finals and the grand final, where that's the best run of form I've ever seen. But Hayne, he was good at fullback. Give the man credit, he was fucking good. Number 4, Timmy Brasher for the Tigers. Small bloke, small in stature, big heart, and just went hard everywhere he fucking went. Was really good under the high ball. Brought the ball back with vengeance. Timmy Brasher's my number 4. Number 3, and I know people are going to get the shits about this, but I'm telling you now, my number 3 fullback that I've seen, and I'm going to put them both, and I'm not doing it because they're both from the Roosters, but Teddy and Minicello, I'm going to give them equal top 3. Roosters have always had good fullbacks. And Minicello and then Teddy, 2 of the best fullbacks you'll see. Let's be honest. Teddy probably should be the New South Wales fullback on the form that he's having this year. And he's been doing that for 8 years. That's how... But the count... And the count's got a good fucking missus too. Looks like she's a bit Italian or something in her. Big tits, a bit of a nose. But fucking count's picked up there too. But I can remember watching the Roosters every week, and the count, Anthony Minicello, was fucking brilliant. And it's the same with Teddy. Come on, as much as all you Rooster fucking haters go on about the Roosters, Teddy's one of the best fullbacks going around, and he's been one of the best for a while. My number 2 fullback, Darren Lockyer. Come on. The man was poetry in motion, watching him. The way he ran, the way he carried himself. He had a heart as big as a fucking dinosaur. He could tackle, he could hit. Ended up playing 5'8", so his ball skills were brilliant. So yeah, Darren Lockyer is my number 2. My number 1, come on. If you're fair about football, and good players when you see them, I think maybe, I don't know whether he'll be a legend. I know he'll make the legends, but I don't know if he'll make the immortal status. But Billy Slater's the best fullback I've ever seen. The way he read the game, the way he put his body on the line for defence, the way he took the high ball, best high ball catcher I've seen. I know probably the last 4 or 5 years of his career, he had this real bad habit of kicking his feet out, and he got penalised and sin bin and suspended a few times for doing that. But you got to give the man credit. He was a fucking damn good fullback. The best I've ever seen. Billy Slater at number 1. But there's a couple that need a mention. Okay, 2 different ones. Personally, I think who could have been the best ever fullback we've seen is Tommy Trbojevic. Unfortunately, he was just one of those blokes that, like my mum used to say, he got chalky bone. he just, every time he seemed to get hit, he got injured. But then he would play a few games and he'd get 4 or 5, half a dozen games behind him, and he would show you then how good he could be, and then he'd get injured again. It's the same literally thing every week, every year with him. But I think Tommy Trbojevic has shown me enough where I think he could have been one of the best ever. He literally could have been one of the best ever. And just unfortunately, it was just an injury-prone, chalky bone bloke that couldn't string enough good seasons together to get to that high standard. But geez, I definitely rate him. And the other bloke, this is a left field one, but there was a fullback that I used to love watching from the Broncos, and he had some big career changes in his life. A bloke called Carmichael Hunt. Now, what I loved about Carmichael Hunt was, if you're new to me and you don't remember Carmichael Hunt, go and have a look at some video footage of Carmichael Hunt playing fullback. And this is what Carmichael Hunt done. He would grab the ball at fullback and he just went straight. So he would, you see a lot of the fullbacks, Teddy's one, I'm just telling you about how good I thought Teddy was. You know, even Billy, who I rate as number 1, how they'd find a gap and they'd go sideways and straighten it and jig and jag and all that. Carmichael Hunt never did that. He would catch the ball and then he would just run straight. Whoever's in front of him, he'd never give a fuck. And I don't mean just jog the cunt up, because I've had a few blokes I can see, good footballers, that pulled a handbrake. There's no handbrake on fucking Carmichael Hunt. He just ran fucking straight and flat out. Oh, he was so good to watch. I really rate him. Ended up playing Origin, played for Australia. Then in a career total backflip, he was one of the big signings for the AFL on the Gold Coast, and went and played AFL, then went and played rugby, ended up playing for the Wallabies. He was a 3-code player, and I don't think gets the credit that he's actually due for. I think he's a coach now up in Brisbane, coaching one of the first division teams up in Brisbane, I think he is now. But yeah, I think a man that should have been given a lot more credit, but I used to love watching him play fullback, just the way he returned the football. Now, my other top 5 that we want to talk about, get back into fucking sea bass here. Fucking nearly done that 6-pack already. We talked a few weeks ago about my top 5 OnlyFans that I follow. Now, what I did was I told you what they were, but I never told you what they offered. So I've had heaps of people message me saying we've looked at them online and we can see what they have in their profile, but we don't know literally, what, because what they write down is not necessarily what they can actually do. So, what do they have to offer? So now we're about to go through our top 5 OnlyFans girls who I follow, and what do they bring to the party? What do they bring when they turn up? Is it worthwhile paying that fucking $8 a month or $10 a month? Some of them only $5 a month. And you can hide it. You don't have to say so your missus, don't be frightened. You can fucking hide it and say it's something. This cunt's barking a bark. You got it! Barking, you got! It's going well. It's fucking 40 minutes into the show and he hasn't barked. Now the cunt's out here fucking barking. So me number 5 was a girl called J. Lee Torrey. Now, I'm telling you because this is their job. Now, she's an Aussie girl travelling around Australia. She's a country girl. Big-breasted country girl. I think she's currently up in far north Queensland at the moment, chasing crocodiles and barramundi. Now, she's only new to the scene. So she's a lot of naked stuff, does a lot of self-masturbation. I just got to be honest, is what she does, is what she promotes on the channels. This is what she promotes on the channel. A lot of self-masturbation. Just started getting into a little bit of girl stuff. I think big things are going to be happening with her. My number 4 was a girl called Indianara Jung. Now, Indianara Jung, I think might be Venezuelan. Perfect body. She's 10. She's 10. Now, heavy lesbian domination girl. That's all I've got to say. Heavy lesbian domination girl. She'd be 6'2", 6'3", sunburnt brown, titties that you could hang probably 5 coat hangers off the nipple. So, and lesbian domination. 2 words put together. Fuck me dead, you can't get better than that. Number 3 is Farm Bella. Now, Farm Bella's an Australian girl. Okay, now, she does a lot of toys, a lot of girl stuff on a farm. Don't know where a farm is, obviously she keeps that a secret. But she's a farm girl. Does a lot of stuff in tractors, a lot of stuff on hay bales. Does a little bit of stuff in stables. Big stable man I am. So a lot of farm content by herself, but a bit of girl stuff too. So Farm Bella. My number 2 is Aussie Susie. Now Aussie Susie's what you call a MILF. Aussie Susie's probably 50, maybe 55. Gorgeous. Big bosomed. I'll tell you straight now, big bosomed girl. Aussie Susie lives on the Gold Coast. Goes to a lot of swingers parties. A lot of girl stuff, a lot of self-masturbation. Loves the toys. Loves the outdoor stuff. So, yeah. But an older lady, definitely worth the while following. And my number 1 is... sorry, I had an equal number 1. I just realised. Number 1 is all the coffee girls. Now, all the coffee girls. It's just toys. But they have toys in all different areas, on boats and in motels and on beaches and all. But it's a lot of toy stuff and a lot of spanking. They get a lot of stuff together and they spank. So they do. And my other number 1 was a lady called Miss Mia Fit. Now, when I started watching Miss, because I went through a stage where I was right into Vikings. Agatha got me into fucking Vikings from Valhalla or whatever it was. Ludbrook Nuggerjuk. Ludbrook is the bloke who owns fucking Traveller Beer, who I did a rating on right back at the start. But his missus in this TV series, Agatha, got me hooked on Viking women. And then I came across this girl from Denmark called Mia Fit, who was a bodybuilder who just started into the OnlyFans scene. Now, 2 years down the line, she right into fucking... Yep. She's married, so a lot of her content is with her husband, and then a lot of stuff with toys. I do see some lesbian content. I think I can just see it happen. She's got a few friends that are starting to pop up on her feed, and I reckon that there's some lesbian action coming up very soon. So that's my top 5 in the OnlyFans, and my top 5 fullbacks. Isn't that? You ever thought you'd see someone rate their top 5 fullbacks ever and their top 5 OnlyFans girls? Only in Australia. That's all I'll say. Only in Australia. Look, politics. I'll tell you what. I'm sick of this fucking... our power price is going to go up again. Our power price is going to go up again. Bowen's still talking about fucking windmills and solar. Listen, solar works, by the way. I got solar on my house here in Yamba. Power's fucking brilliant. Cheapest power I've ever had. It's still a lot, but it's the cheapest because I got solar. London in England have just agreed to put 2 more nuclear power plants in London to bring the price of power down. We can't even talk about the motherfucker in Australia. Okay, I'm telling you now, there's some politicians getting their asses greased with money because common sense is not fucking happening there. Common sense tell you we cannot get to net zero with wind and solar. We need nuclear in every other company in the world. Isn't it funny how these politicians, Albo the Liar in the Lodge, and Bowen, and Penny Wong de Kong, I can't stand that cunt. It's just, how is she the foreign minister and all she does is run other countries down and... something about it, I just don't like it. But anyway, power. All these other countries are going to nuclear, but we can't even talk about it in Australia. We're paying the highest rates of power in the fucking world, and we've got the biggest mineral deposits in the world. Now, fair to them, we've got companies closing down everywhere because they can't pay power. But you know what? All you cunts that voted for fucking Labor because you're too fucking tired to do a little bit of research and you believed all the lies on mainstream media. That's what happened. Mainstream media. And Albo, the liar in the lodge, had to hide to go on a couple of days ago about this woman journalist from Channel 9 or somewhere. They got hit by a stray fucking rubber bullet at these riots in Los Angeles. Mexicans, by the way, Mexicans writing about being sent back to Mexico because they want to stay in America, but they're carrying around Mexican flags, burning American police cars because they don't want to be sent back to Mexico. But they're jumping around waving Mexican flags. I just can't work that shit out. And I just heard someone say the other day, they've got to come up, America could come up with a better alternative instead of going into their businesses or into their houses and arresting them. Here's the fucking news flash for you. They actually did. They actually come out months ago and said, if you're an illegal immigrant to America, we'll pay you $1,000, we'll put you on a plane and pay for the airfares, send you anywhere in the world. Okay? Free of charge. Yeah, there was a better alternative. They never sounded. And here's another fact. I'm from Australia. My name's Bus Hollman. I can't go to fucking England and stay in England. If I got on a plane and went to England and started working in a coffee shop or a fishing... I wouldn't do a coffee shop. I'd probably work in a fish and chip shop, a little fish and chip shop. I couldn't stay there because my visa would run out and they'd send me fucking home. They'd pack me up. They'd actually send the police around if I'd overstayed my visa and they'd send me home. Now, here I am, Bus Hollman, the Bus Hollman Show. If I went to France, the same thing. If I went to America, the same thing. But here's the difference. It wasn't Trump that was telling me I had to go home. Are you too dumb to fucking see that? Fair dinkum. Anyway, fishing report. Like I said, I've been fishing over 10 Mile Beach over at Iluka and had a good session there early in the week. Got a heap of good bream, couple of fucking stonker bream actually, and a few whiting. Got two little soapies, which was really good. When I was down at Freeburn, got some good pearlies. Got 6 or 7 really good little pearlies, and we had them in some fish tacos a couple of nights ago. Fuck, they were nice, little fish tacos. Then we fished the walls in the Yamba Bay, but to no effect. The river's not fishing at all. Though the Ludwig fishermen are catching a heap of fish up the river. If you're into that, you've got to be a special type of person to get into the fucking Ludwig fish. You're standing there with your rod, waiting for your little float to bob. Anyway, I'm not into that type of fishing. But I might have to get into it. So the Ludwigs are going off in the river, that's the only thing. But the river's actually stopped flooding, so in the next couple of weeks, the salt water will start pushing back up the Clarence and it'll start at the heads and come up the walls, and then we'll start to get a little bit more up there, so that should come on. But yeah, the beaches at the moment are fishing really good. No crabs about anywhere. I've run my crab pops for probably the last 5 or 6 days and literally have not got one crab. The Colgoa Cowboy, the Paru Pirate and the Macquarie River Bandit have told me that the fish are biting on the Macquarie. They're getting them on bait, getting them on cheese and chicken. Keep half the chicken, half the cheese, put them together, put a little bit of soy sauce and a little bit of garlic, and there's a little feed anyway. Don't even have to catch a fish. But the cod are going on the Macquarie with a bit of cheese and chicken. Out on the Darling, from Brewanna all the way down to Louth, the weirs are producing good yellow belly with yabby and worm at the weirs, just below all the weirs. So the Darling's got a good little flow through it. But yeah, catching good yellow belly from Bree all the way down to Louth. And I only know Louth, but I reckon it'll literally go all the way to Tilpa, just fishing just below the weirs, and you're going to get some really good yellow belly there. What else is in the fish? Tell you what I did do. Went down and last week, was on the long weekend just gone, I think it was on the Saturday, Sunday. They had a longboard surfing comp at Turner's Beach, and went down and watched that a fair bit. I was in the car park one morning, walking through, I did do a little bit of a circle and do a bit of a walk, and I seen a bloke with his missus, and he was powdering her up to put a wetsuit on. And she's standing out there naked and he's rubbing powder all over her. Make you want to be a surfer, I'll tell you right now. So that's that there. What's pissing Bus off? But we're going to take a little break. Bus has drunk too much beer and Bus needs a piss. Righto, Bus is back. I've been drinking too much. Look, here it is here. I don't know if you can see. There they are. Look, all the little soldiers. All the little soldiers are gone. I've got one left. So that tells you that's a pretty good beer. Because I haven't even got through the show. And I'm already done my 6-pack. Tell you what, this is not a bad beer. I might even give it its rating now. Actually, I will. I'll give it its rating now. So this is the Sea Bass Euler's Brew 4.2% Mediterranean Lager. I'm going to give it 4 stars. I'm going to give it 4 stars. It's the type of beer I could go deep on. It's actually not a bad beer. A little bit stronger than what I'm used to because I drink too much. But that's not a bad beer. I'll tell you what, that's not a bad beer. I could go deep on that. One of the better Crown beers that I've had. Crown Craft. Better than craft beers. Yeah. No, it's all right. What's pissing Bus off? Let's get straight in it. Tell you what's pissing Bus off this week. Girls in short dresses or skirts that constantly walk around pulling them down. If you're going to pull them down, don't put the fucking things on. If you're not going to show your ass, or maybe a little bit of that pussy, don't put them on. Wear a longer dress. Put tights on under your dress. But there's nothing worse, I'll show you, there's nothing worse than you walk around and you go, oh, pull down, pull down, pull down, pull down. They're like that all the time. Pull down, pull down. Don't wear them. I just hate it. If you're gonna pull them down, don't fucking wear them. If it's gonna show cheeky ass and you're wearing G-string, don't do it. Just don't do it. I can't say it anymore. Don't do it. I don't like it. It pisses me off. You make all that effort. You look nice. You walk around pulling your dress or your skirt down. I don't know. It's just only a simple thing. That's all it is. But it does annoy me. And that's what's pissing me off. Talk about G-strings and what's pissing... Again, got into a conversation this week with... I think I told you this before. But I got into a conversation this week with a couple of fishermen. And that fish comps and all that sort of stuff. And they hate the way women are taking over YouTube fishing. Because they're fishing in G-strings and bikinis. And everyone's joining up and watching that. And the boys are trying to get sponsors, and they can't get them because everyone wants to sponsor the women, and they really don't look at the fish. They could catch a shark, a jewfish, or a brim. No one gives a fuck. All they say is, "Did you see so and so catch it in that little red bikini the other day?" They don't talk about what she catches. They talk about what she's wearing. When she catches, boys hate that. I've worked that out up here. They fucking hate that. Actually, one thing we will do is I follow probably about half a dozen different people on YouTube that have fishing, camping and boating channels, and a couple of brilliant ones that really motivate you and do a great job. We'll talk about them in the next few weeks, I think, and yeah, it's very worthwhile. If you're into camping, fishing, hunting, anything like that, there's a few channels that I follow that you would really love, and it's a couple of families and a couple of single people, and it's really good. So we might put that in another top 5. Anyway, that's what's pissing Bus off at the moment. Girls that wear short fucking skirts and pull them down constantly. Don't pull the cunts down if you don't want to fucking wear them. Fuck me, that makes me fucking angry. Rightio. I'll tell you another story about short skirts. There was a girl in Burke, I think she worked at the Aboriginal Medical Service, the AMS in Burke, and this is fucking 10 years ago. Oh my God, she was fucking gorgeous. And believe it or not, she actually rented a house next door to the Cobar Prince. So we spent a lot of time in his backyard whenever she done the fucking washing. And told you last week about walking under the clothesline with the bras and the pants on. Anyway, so I would go to work at probably 8:30, 9 o'clock every day. She would leave her house at 8:30 to walk to work, to start at work at 9 o'clock. I would always make a point. I know this makes me sound like a stalker, but fuck it. You know you do it, you're just too frightened to say you do it. But I would time my drive that I would drive up the street to watch her work. She used to wear this white and black zebra stripe fucking skirt, and she had the perfect ass, and I would probably do 2 or 3 laps. If she ever reported me, I'd be fucking in trouble. And I'd watch her walking to work. So anyway, when she left, she had a going away party, and me and the Cobar Prince got invited. And after a while through the night, I ended up having a conversation with her, and I told her the story. I said, I just loved watching you walk to work in that zebra fucking print skirt you used to wear. And she either had 3 or 4 of them, or she washed the cunts every day, because she wore that motherfucker 3 or 4 times a week. I'm telling you right now. So I told her the story about I'd go to work early just to drive up the streets, and I said, did you ever notice me? She said, yeah. She said, I did for a while. She said, I thought someone was constantly driving around. I said, well, I was one of them. There might have been others, I don't know. And she laughed, and we joked about it and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, I got the call about 3 days later after she left, and it was from the Cobar Prince. And anyway, he said, listen, so-and-so has left a package here for you. I said, what are you talking about? He said, Dad, she's left a package here. She said, it's all wrapped up, it's got sticky tape around it, so I can't open it up, I don't know what it is. So I went around to Cobar Prince's place, and here's this package. And she said, anyway, on the note it said, to Bus, with love, from so-and-so. I opened it up, you're not going to fucking believe this. It was her zebra print skirt and a couple of pairs of G-strings that she gifted me, and she left me. So anyway, they're out at the fishing hut now, and whenever I go out there camping and fishing, they sleep with me. Don't tell my missus I fucking said that. Anyway, let's move on to this week's games. We're just about getting there. And I'm out of craft beer. There you go, I'm out of craft beer. This week's games, and of course the Origin. Origin's on next week. We've had a couple of late disasters this week. Luai's been called into the side to play 5'8". I mean, that was a given with his connection with Penrith, that he was going to be called into it. I thought Burton was unlucky, but as 18th man, I still think that could have worked. I'll tell you what I loved this week was the way Aaron Woods called out Billy Slater and called him a grub. It's funny how the media go on, and they've been, and let's be honest, and a couple of the big media rugby league personalities, Buzz Rothfield and Webster and them blokes like that, have been calling out our rugby league Origin is not exciting anymore, and they wish more blokes and do and say the way they feel. And then Aaron Woods comes out this week and calls Billy Slater a grub, and he was. Let's be honest, Billy Slater was a fucking grub. And God, hasn't he got popular? I'll tell you what, and last week's what pisses Bus off was Gordon Tallis, and I watched NRL 360, and Aaron Woods was on, and Big Gordon tried to rip him a couple of times, and I'll tell you what, Aaron Woods jammed it back into the cunt, the fucking lizard neck cunt. And it was fucking great to see that Big Gordy. And didn't Big Gordy fucking fold when Woodsy fucking jammed it back into him. But yeah, gone are the days. Remember that day when fucking, when Gallen down my, what's his name, that fucking square jawed cunt from Queensland, and knocked the piss clean out of him. You gotta love Origin. Anyway, I think Queensland, and you can't tell me DCE was not the scapegoat in that loss. Queensland got beaten to forward and they drop it back. Come on. Yeah, I just hope DCE don't go to the fucking Roosters. Anyway, I think New South Wales has still got what it takes I liked a couple of changes. One was forced. I think Luai will go in there, though I feel Luai will go well in there, though I do feel sorry for Burton. I think Burton would definitely deserved a spot in the 18 for the Origin, so I definitely feel for him. But I think New South Wales will get up. I think it'll be a lot closer. I think Queensland will come back a little bit. It'll all depend on how quickly that combination between Cleary and Luai pick up. That could determine how well that game goes for New South Wales. So, but I am tipping New South Wales to come away with the win. So, last night's game, Sharks. I'll tell you what, true story. Dragons were leading 18-6 at half time. I turned it over and watched a couple of shows on TV and went to sleep in bed. Woke up this morning, the Sharks had won 30-8. I could not fucking believe it. So I don't know what Fitzy said to the boys at half time at the Sharks, but it definitely worked because they come up and flogged the Dragons in the second half. I don't know where the Dragons go from here. Titans and the Seagulls tonight. Today's Friday, the 13th of June. So tonight the Seagulls. Why are so many Fridays the 13th? Did I just pick out in that? But why does that happen a lot? Anyway, Seagulls and Titans. DC, obviously, so he's out to prove a point tonight and have a blinder, I reckon. Tommy Trbojevic is back at fullback. I think Manly comfortable over the Titans. Tomorrow night, the Knights against the Roosters. I don't know how the Roosters are starting favourite with the amount of people they've got out. But I do think the Roosters can beat the Knights, even though it's up there at McDonald Jones Stadium. Up at Queensland Country Bank Stadium, actually in Townsville, Cowboys take on the Dolphins. I'm going against the grain here. I know the Dolphins are going well, and I know, but they've also got a couple out, and I know the Cowboys have got a few out too. But I just think this is a game that the Cowboys have to win at home. I'm going to take the Cowboys over the Dolphins. Rabbits and Dogs. I know even though the Dogs have got like 5 or 6 out, I think a couple of really big names are out of the Rabbitohs with Cody Walker and Trell Mid out. I think the Bulldogs can get up. Even though the Bulldogs are starting favourites, I do think that they can get up over that there. So that's the tips for this weekend. Hope Origin goes well. I know we come to a society where fighting's not a part of football, but fuck me dead. Isn't it funny? We all talk about that, but every replay that any of the channels that show Origin, they all show the fighting. So, I don't know. I don't know where we stand on that. One part of me says I want to see more of it. The other part says, we've moved on from that. I'll tell you what, I wish we'd moved on to it probably back about fucking 30, fucking nearly 40 years ago. Under 18s grand final at Bree. Burke under 18s played Cobar under 18s in the grand final. I was hooking. My opposition hooker from Cobar was Tommy Good. And I'll tell you something, Tommy Good pumped the cunt out of me. I reckon during that game we probably had 5 or 6 stand-up toe-to-toe blues. I never won fucking one of them. Pumped the cunt clean out of me 4 or 5 times in that game. And then in the end, I fucking put a fucking rabbit shot on him, give away a penalty. They went down the field and fucking scored. But anyway, they were a mile better side than us. But yeah, fuck that. Never forget that Tommy Good punt the cunt clean out of me. I'll tell you another one. We're in Ningen. So Burke got kicked out of Group 15. And Ningen and Cobar joined Group 11. So this is about 87, 88, I think it was. So I went down to Ningen and played a couple of years after that because you just love rugby league. There was me, Keithy Harvey, Shane Dean and Peter Gascoigne. We all went down and played in Ningen. So our first, we went down and met the people at Ningen. Billy Barrow, who was a fucking hairdresser. He was a, what do you call him? A fucking bloke that cut hair. He was a hairdresser barber. That's him. He was Billy Barrow. He was a barber in Ningen. And Rodney Robb, old horse trainer. I've got some stories about Rodney Robb I can tell you in the next few weeks. and I think Rodney Rob might have been the president of the club. Anyway, he signed us all from Burke. So he said, listen, he said, come down this week. He said, it's our first trial game. He said, we'll put you up at the Overlander Hotel on the Friday and Saturday night. He said, go home Sunday. So we turned up. We all, of course, we lived in Burke, which was 200 k's away. So we all finished work. We're all working blokes back then. There was me, Shane, and Gasso that were playing juniors. I think it might have been Stephen Howarth, and Stephen Howarth, Burke's best all-rounder, and Keithy Harvey playing first grade. So we went down on the Friday after work. We never got there till about 7 o'clock. Billy Barra and Rodney Robb met us at the Overlander Hotel, showed us where our rooms were. And so we had training the next day, which was Saturday, and then a trial game on Sunday. So what did we do on the Friday night? We went out and got absolutely fucking smashed. So we're in the front bar of the Overlander. We're drinking and playing pool. We're fucking deep into it. We are. This is like 11 or 12 o'clock, and they've still got the pub open. And anyway, somehow, somewhere along the line, a fight started. And I remember Shane fucking grabbing this pool stick and smashing it over some bloke's fucking head. And then Ningen blokes were just coming in, and all us Burke fellas are in the corner, the 5 of us. I think Russell Harvey was another one that was there. And I can remember just literally picking up the balls off the pool table, putting them in pockets, and as the Ningen fellas were coming, I was just pegging it at them, hitting them in the head, hitting them in the fucking chest. And then they're just in the corner of the pool room in the front bar of the Overlander, we started this massive all-in brawl. And like it went for 10 or 15 minutes, and I was fucked at the end of it until the police came in, and the security and the bar staff, and split us all up. And anyway, we got sent to our rooms, and we were fucking there. And then we had I'll never forget this till the day I fucking die. We had a train and run the next morning, and it was so all the Burke fellas could meet the Ningen players. So we got there early because we had to be given our gear. We had to give them our shorts and socks and our training shirts and our Guernsey. So we were in there early, and we met Billy Barra, and we were sitting around this change room in Ningen, and all of a sudden, all the Ningen fellas started turning up, and every second bloke that walked through the door was involved in the all-in brawl we had the fucking night before. You ain't seen fucking air cut with a knife like it did that fucking afternoon. And anyway, Rodney Robb had heard about it, that we were involved in this big fucking all-in brawl. And so we're all sitting there across the room from each other in the change sheds looking at each other, and fucking Rodney Robb walks in. And anyway, he said to the Ningen, and this is what I always admired this bloke, and we've been best mates from this day onward, from that's about 85, and we're still best mates, me and Rodney Robb. He looked at all the Ningen fellas, and he said, boys, he said, sitting across there is all them boys from Burke that have come down here and going to try and win us a grand final. He said, now I'm going to tell you this. After last night's effort at the Overlander with that big brawl that you had, do you want these fellas in your side, or do you want to be playing against them? All of a sudden, all the Ningen fellas got up, walked across the room and shook our hands. End of story. See you later. Oh, what a great day that was. Ended up playing 2 years down in Ningen. A couple of great years, actually, so we did well. Anyway, that's the Bus Hollman Show for episode 7. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll catch up again next week. Remember, pain goes away, chicks dig scars, and glory lasts forever. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Please like and please share so we can pick the numbers up. Catch us all later.